The ANC's Limpopo Chairperson, Mathabatha, is calling for the step-aside resolution to be refined. The ANC in Limpopo is holding a special Provincial General Council in Polokwane to discuss issues around their policy position before the ANC holds the national policy gathering this coming weekend. One of the regions in Limpopo is pushing for, as I was saying, a refining, if you will, of the step-aside guidelines, and that's the Vhembe region. Let's bring in our reporter, Pelane, who's been speaking to the various people attending that gathering there. Pelane, what exactly would a refined step-aside resolution for the ANC look like, according to those in Limpopo?
Well, of course, as you've already earlier indicated from Mathabatha, when we were talking about the guidelines of the step-aside resolution, he talked specifically on the word refined. And he says there is a serious need for it to be refined because some of their comrades were left out in the dark, in particular relations in the previous administration, where you had the deputy chairperson and as well as a treasurer having to step aside on the basis of allegations. Later on, when it was ratified, you had the treasurer being forced to step aside at the time because he was charged, and the deputy chairperson at the time then managed to come back because she was not charged formally. But let us bring in the Vhembe secretary, that is, of course, Ruzane Ludere. Thank you very much for joining us. One of the key issues that has been discussed here at the PGC today is the step-aside resolution. The position of Vhembe?
Look, the regime came out very strongly as it relates to step-aside. We feel that it is inconsistently applied, and therefore it must be scrapped off, not even be refined. Because, step aside also is inconsistent with the natural principle of justice, that of innocent until proven otherwise. And therefore, the region is very clear that we must scrap it, and we must use the state and the police. If there are problems with corruption, people must be arrested. People must be tried in a court of law, and they must be found guilty. And therefore, that is the point where they are going to step aside. Not this thing that when somebody is accused of fictitious allegations, they will be asked to step aside. And the other problem that we have is that we seem to be changing the rules as we go. Step aside as it is now is not the way it was when it was resolved. It was changed along the way. And we think that it is not helping the organization. It is actually dividing the movement.
Are you one of those regions pushing that the policy conference, when it sits, despite the fact that it is not, a conference of the ANC that has deciding powers but recommendations, do you want it to as well to be changed into an NGC?
No, the Regional General Council did not speak to that. We are going to the National Policy Conference of the ANC. I think the leadership of the ANC will advise in terms of what must happen with the NGC. But the RGC of the Vhembe region spoke about the National Policy Conference and dealt with a number of policies.
As we perhaps go back to that particular issue now of step aside, there are issues that you want them to deal with them as a matter of agency, and that of course includes this issue of when charged. How would you rather want it? You say it should be scrapped off, but if it can't be scrapped off, how would you rather want it?
Well, we want it to be scrapped off because it is inconsistent with the natural principle of justice, that of being proven, that of being innocent until proven otherwise. You see, the other challenge that it poses is that people are going to be charged. Somebody is going to go and open a case for somebody who did not do anything. And then people will be asked to step aside, and then certain things will have to happen, and then they come back later after 2 months. The deputy chairperson of the province and the provincial treasurer stepped aside for 2 years. Nothing happened. And the deputy chairperson, as is, she's not charged, but she had stepped aside. I think it is very unfair, especially for a democratic movement like the ANC, to adopt this kind of policies.
Definitely, that's Ruzane Ludere there. Temekile is the secretary of the Vhembe region, of course, influential here in the province. And they want to use their influence here at the Provincial General Council, the Special Provincial General Council, to say that they need to scrap off completely the position of the step aside as it is currently.
Pelane, reporting for us from Polokwane. For now, thank you.